Welcome to the Post Polio Survivors Net. The Post Polio Survivors Net is on your pod right now.
Here we go. Recording to Lacey. Talk session. So this is going to be a talk session on a Shure microphone, a dynamic, and I'm using the iMic system, which is a pretty stable and a Mac edition made by Griffin. And I have used a couple different versions of that, and I like it real well. So on our podcast, I want to thank Jerry Mack for being just a great announcer on our lead-ins and breaks and everything else. He's a real professional. Okay, I'm in my recording studio right now, which is half is computer and Final Cut Studio and Logic Pro Suite. They're all the high-end stuff. The other half of the studio is my hand loading for competition, precision, bench rest shooting. Boy, that's a mouthful. But I started that after I got disabled. Made a list of things that I thought I could do pretty good in a wheelchair. And then I made a list of things that I was interested in but didn't know if I could do it. I'd have to try, and we'd have to at least do some kind of rental or get somebody that's in authority. And I was lucky enough to get a fellow from northern Minnesota, I believe it was, and we shot the 2001 season at the Minneapolis range. It's a variety of shooting ranges for different styles and every kind you can think of. Ours is the bench rest 100 and 200 yard targets on the IB International Bench Rest Association. Also the NBRS, I believe it is. I also shot some rimfire, and I really enjoyed that. It's a different kind of mentality when you're doing that. Kinds of weights that you can assign to precision shooting. Tall 22 long rifle, a couple different divisions, the light and the heavy. The light would be 25 targets, I believe. Now I'm going from memory. Shooting rimfire, in which you have so many minutes to shoot so many bullseyes. 20, 25. I believe it was 20 minutes, 25 minutes. On the light, most of the shooters that were in contention for anything would shoot a Seiko as a baseline long 22 long rifle in the pinfire, and then they would build from there to keep the weight down low for whatever the class that you're shooting. Some beautiful things. I had a pinfire. I wish I had it back because I have a custom stock.
Enough. Time for a break. Be right back after these messages.
That's a problem. That's why I come in here at 2 in the morning to try and record. It's the only quiet time I can get. So I'll probably run this through Fission and then bring it back into Logic Pro, cut it down. I'll go back again now on the beginning of bench rest shooting, because I just didn't start off to be a bench rest shooter. What really started me off was the idea of restoration of a couple of rifles my son gave me. who was a lieutenant in the police department in one of the Denver suburbs. He had a person come in that was moving, an older senior citizen, I believe he said it was, and they couldn't take the rifles with them where they were going, and I think he had lost interest, or it was his sons, and his son lost interest. But what my son brought to me, he says, well, I'll give you $10 for him, and he did, you know. He brought me 2 rifles, a 1917 Winchester 30-06, and I believe we were making them for England before America went into the World War I. And when I first saw that, it has a hunting custom stock on it and scope. I believe the scope's Weaver. I'll have to recheck it in my case. But one beautiful rifle that somebody put a lot of work into, knew what they were doing. Probably used it every year for deer, elk, antelope, whatever, out in Colorado and the western states. So that's what got me interested, is tracing some of the history of some of these rifles. The second one was an Enfield Mark III, or a 3rd Division, made in Australia. And whoever had the rifle had named it Irene and had carved Irene next to the cheek stock on the Enfield. Beautiful rifle. Now, it wasn't then. I had to do a lot of restoration work on the stock and mechanically, and made sure I checked the headspace would fire correctly. And that's a .303 caliber bullet. And to make a short story long, I got Wilson dies and made sure I checked everything that I could so that would safely fire. And I purchased contemporary ammunition in a low velocity, so I didn't want to tax the system. But I fired that. My wife fired on the range after I got done preparing it, just like any other rifle, and we both loved it.
Thanks for watching. Your emails and support mean so much for us. Till next time, this is Jerry McClellan.